Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Shri Ramachandra, Jai Shri Lakshmi Narasimha, Sat Shri Akal, and Om Namah Shivaya. Today I have with me one of the most inspiring people I have come across. This is Robin Singh ji, and most of us are familiar with his amazing work on saving animals, and most of our viewers also might be cognizant of his amazing efforts towards all animals, basically. Many of them who have been suffering a lot in our human world, so rather very inhumane world. And first came across him in 2021. My mother was just going through videos of self-sustainability and goshalas, came across his videos and shared it with me, and that is when I was really inspired. And even when we started our goshalas, we wanted to keep these principles as the cornerstone of taking care of Gaumata, and here we have him today. I was so fortunate to be with you here and
Thank
to
you.
learn so much from you, to be more inspired to do it effectively, seva to Gaumata. So the first thing I wanted to ask you from a very long time was, what actually inspired you to get on the ground and do it? People speak about seva, they speak about, they speak about animals, but I rarely see that getting translated into action. So what inspired you, Ji?
See, it wasn't like I was looking to help animals or do anything great, do anything for humanity. I was searching for my own happiness. So that's why I came to India. Before this, I was running a tech company in the US, and at
Ji.
one point, I got like, I have everything I wanted, but I wasn't happy. So I was like, all the white people come to India,
Yeah.
find themselves. I'm from India, I might as well go.
So,
So came to India, and it was 18 months of trying one thing after the other. It was like, okay, I'm gonna buy a Jeep and make travel videos. And then I was like, this is
Yes.
stupid. And then I became a hippie, and I'm like, this is stupid. And then eventually I gave up on the idea. So I realized that this is a scam. There is no such thing as happiness, at
Yeah.
least the way it has been presented to us by our parents, by society, and by, the television. And I gave up on the idea. And then it was after having given up, I came across a woman, and she was taking care of a lot of dogs. Uh, she was taking care of 40 to 60 dogs. She was old, anemic, and broke. And that's when a shift began, because I was like, she has nothing and she's still giving, and I have everything, and I'm still like seeking more, more. And so she kind of watered the values that my mom had given me when I was a kid, but I found them really boring, like service, follow the path of Vivekanand. It's like,
I agree.
So when I saw this woman, I was like, okay, I'm not gonna be happy. I might as well follow the path of purpose. So I did it because I couldn't find anything else to do, anything worthwhile doing. That's why I did it.
That's why you started this. And what gave you the courage and determination to continue? Because people do start as well, but then you don't see them continuing. I heard you started in 2014, if I'm not wrong, 2015 somewhere.
Started working in animal welfare in India in 2013 of Feb.
Oh, great.
People Farm was started 2014 of December. So see, for me it's very easy. I do it because I don't have a choice. I told you that I had everything I wanted, and I did a bit of soul searching. So I realized at that point when I was reading that you have to, whenever you consume something,
Yes.
it has to be produced. Whenever something is produced, there's going to be suffering behind it. Like meat, you can see very obvious there's suffering. For eggs, it's another step removed.
Yeah.
For dairy, it's a few more steps removed. Everything else, everything causes
Some
suffering, because
Yes.
it's going to be farmed or mined and transported to you. It's going to use petrol, it's going to require mining,
Yeah.
right? Everything in
Causes-
modern life causes suffering. So I was like, I'm not, I became a very minimal person, carrying tote bag, water bottles. Eventually, I realized that even living requires consumption. So,
Yes.
just by living a very simple life, you're still causing suffering. Now, I believe I'm a good person. A good person wouldn't cause suffering to others, right? They have empathy. So, if by living I'm causing suffering, then either I shouldn't live, which is a scary thought, or you live to reduce suffering.
Yes.
So I believe that, if I kill myself, the world will be as horrible as it is, which it's very horrible. But if I live in it, I can make it less horrible for at least a few. So either I do this or I die. I don't have a choice. I have a gun to my head.
True, true, true. That's really an inspiring way of thinking. In fact, I think you've already done a lot in this direction. You've made a lot of, so many of these poor souls are living a better life because of your efforts. So I think you're, yeah, from the perspective of a normal person like me, I'd say you've gone above and beyond what you could do, and you're doing more than that as well. So normally I see that. People, all humans are born with some degree of compassion, but the problem is that they extend it selectively to only a few species, or they extend it to a certain. They just have a particular radius of extension, just extending that. For example, some primarily when we talk about animal welfare, it's equated with just dogs and cats primarily because there's a stronger emotional connection with them. So probably they feel that stronger connection, and it rarely translates into any other living being, including those who feel, if not more pain, at least equal pain to dogs and cats. And similarly, I see for other species as well, there is selectivism. So, what kind of philosophy did you embody to make sure that your compassion extends to so many animals? For those of you who know, the Peepal farm takes care of several animals, right? You have cows, buffaloes,
Yeah,
dogs, cats.
we say big or small, we love them all.
Yeah, I saw that at the gate, and that's beautiful. Excellent, excellent.
So, what's your question?
The question was what kind of philosophy actually made you feel that okay, now we have to extend this to all animals or all living
Okay. So, see, on your point,
Hmm.
we are all born with a spark of empathy.
Correct, that is right.
Depends on which household you're born in,
True.
so the spark will vary in intensity.
Correct.
But then,
Hmm.
it's did your parents fan that spark into a fire,
Hmm.
or did they extinguish it?
Yes.
What are you talking about? Just worry about money. Just worry about career. What are you
Yeah,
thinking?
yeah,
So there is that.
Hmm.
So that empathy is there in some individuals.
Hmm.
Some of them, a lot of them lose connection with that empathy,
Correct.
and the way luck had it, I got reconnected to it.
Hmm.
And I got reconnected to it, and then when I started thinking, no, like, others suffer by living, I cause suffering,
Hmm.
it extended to all the beings, everybody capable of feeling pain, because I find pain to be absolutely bad. Because, see,
True.
you can think about, say, money is economic upliftment good?
Hmm.
Maybe not, depends. You turn a village into a city, maybe you didn't do the best thing,
Maybe.
right?
Hmm.
Is saving lives a good thing? Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. The person you save, when they eat animals, did you actually do something good? I don't know. So
Ultimately,
I
yes.
wanted to go with the most absolute thing which is going to be good for everyone, which is reducing physical pain. Which is why, even for People Farm, I say we are in the business of reducing suffering. The
Excellent.
lives we save are a side effect.
Oh, wonderful,
So
wonderful.
it has to, by its definition, it has to extend
Hmm.
to every being capable of feeling pain. Doesn't matter whether they can speak or not, whether doesn't matter whether they are smart or not, or whether they are cute or not.
Exactly, exactly. That is exactly how we should think, in my humble opinion as
It's
well.
it's easier to think about it if you think about a kid
Mm-hmm.
who is differently abled and
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
cannot talk, or is
Yes.
born where they are not as cute as all the other
Correct.
babies,
Correct.
or so do they deserve less? Are they
No way.
right? So the only thing is, are they capable of feeling pain?
Yeah.
So that's the
Surely, surely they are.
only parameter.
Yes, absolutely. That is very helpful. And a significant proportion of our audience is youth, basically. And what would you tell them? Because I also read on your website, as well as some parts of your book, which I started reading today,
Thank you.
that that your purpose is now to inspire others, because you realize that uh, only this much can be done by one person or two people. So what would you suggest to the wider group of people watching this video, and what can they do in their own way to help the animals and other suffering beings out?
See, I'll answer this question in two parts.
Sure.
One, my purpose for more than a decade has been the same:
Yeah.
reducing suffering.
Ji.
Inspiring others is part of the strategy, it's part of the methodology.
That's good.
It's like we're going to do service, which is, so we see somebody in pain, we will help them. We will do awareness, so we can change how people look at animals. We want to challenge the thought process that animals are objects for us to use.
Exactly.
Just the way people looked at black people once, that they are slaves, they can be
Yes.
used. People looked at women that way. And what is a common term for a girl in Delhi? Mal. That's the term
So
they use
sad.
for sheep here. It's
Yes.
objectification. That's what we want to challenge. So,
Horrible.
service, awareness. Third is, because there's only so much service you can do, there's only so much awareness you can do. Third is inspiring others to do 1, 2, and 3. So it's part of the strategy. That's why we are called people farm. Like the people farm, people tree will get big, but eventually a bird will come, take the fruit, drop it elsewhere.
Yes.
There would be another people tree there. So what will I tell the youth? I'll say start small. Look at your lifestyle. You're causing some suffering.
Yes.
Reduce whatever you can. Don't think of being perfect. Start small. How do you start eating roti
Correct.
or a dosa? You take a bite.
Yes.
So, so start small,
Start small.
reduce whatever you are doing bad to start doing something good. Could be anything, like, just make a habit, like every day if you pass an anthill, I'm going to put some biscuit chura there. Start small, or carry, or you have an empty plastic bottle, fill it with water, take it with you. You see a kid on a traffic signal, give them, they don't get clean water. They get money, they get fruit, they don't get clean water. So start small. And then 3, tell others about it. Everybody is posting about their BMWs and Audis and
Exactly.
fancy vacations on Instagram.
Yes,
You
yes.
talk about, hey, do less bad, do more good, and inspire others. So yeah.
Absolutely amazing. And so so basically, how you got inspired towards this was through the search for happiness, right?
Yeah.
That's actually very interesting, because from a spiritual perspective, we look at this from an angle that in the several births before this particular birth that you've been in, you've probably been doing a lot of very auspicious things just like this, helping out with people in distress, animals in distress, and everything. And then in this birth, you've actually gotten the opportunity to carry that out into action. So I feel that all of us have some purpose like this in our lives, and we can realize it if we really put in the effort. So I would also recommend our viewers today to read the book behind the history of how this happened, because the name of the book is Happiness Happens. And it's we also did start a goshala, and at the moment also it is running in a way that we treat Gomata just like our friends and family. It's just a private little goshala with hardly about 15 to 20 cows, including little calves as well. And it had been hard throughout, but when I saw Robin G's efforts, I was like, okay, we haven't even touched the surface of what we can do for animals. I feel, that was very inspiring, and I always have this deep desire within myself that I should do something more for those who are suffering. That should be the only business that should exist. You told me that you're in the business of reducing suffering. That should be the only business of human beings in an ideal world.
Because we are the only ones capable of doing it. That's
Yes.
why we are the only ones who can break out of this,
True.
by helping others. But
Absolutely.
look, we all do whatever is within our abilities, within our resources, within our circumstances.
True.
So there's no like, oh, I'm only doing this much, this guy is doing this much. There's none of that.
Correct,
But
correct.
at the same time, we have to keep pushing the boundary to do more. In fact, when you gave my introduction, I felt a little disappointed.
Okay.
You find me so inspirational. You find
Yes.
me inspirational for doing something which is basic decency. What
Basic
am I
decency.
doing? I'm doing, I don't want to hurt others. I don't want to do anything to them that I don't want to be done to me.
Correct.
Right? Basic decency. I want to help them the way I would want to be helped if I were in that situation.
Yes.
Basic decency. So I do these basic things, and I become inspirational. That's a commentary on the kind of society we are living in.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's very true, very true. And I think a lot of youth have already deeply involved with your projects in the sense they're following you on social media, and some of them are even, it's translating into action. You have a lot of people who are, working here and everything else. And
There's
how,
one right behind
yeah.
the camera here.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely, and that's also very inspiring. And secondly, how do you think an average person, young person, or even in their 30s or 40s, can involve with this project of helping out animals? Like, how can they directly involve? Like, you mentioned a few steps, but then if someone is capable of doing more, you mentioned that you can just go and put some milk to an animal or
I
some
didn't say
crumbs.
milk,
Yeah,
biscuit.
okay, a biscuit to ants.
vegan guy here.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. So you give some biscuits to ants, etc. But which is how would you actually advise the youth or anyone else to actively involve with this if they have more capabilities?
So it's a longer answer. It's
Yeah.
like, it depends on what is it you want to do. You specifically want to do animal welfare. I would
Exactly.
say start with volunteering with a rescue.
Correct.
And so you learn the ropes, you see what all is there. So
Yes.
the way we started,
Hmm.
like, as an individual, you feed, you give water, you give like a bori where they can sleep on
True.
in winters.
True.
Now you scale up your efforts, so you learn first aid.
Yeah.
You learn first aid, you volunteer with the rescue, they teach you first aid.
Hmm.
You start going on the streets, so there are people who feed animals, and they call you, oh, this animal got injured. You go there on a scooty, you treat the wound, you prevent it from becoming a maggot wound. If there's a maggot wound, you clean it, you prevent it from getting infected, whatever you
Yes.
can do on the
Yes.
street. So start there.
Hmm.
Then you will find cases that eventually they have had they were in an accident, they have a fracture, they can't be left on the street, they need a
Yes.
recovery center like a
Yes.
hospital
Yes.
bed.
Yes.
So you can start a recovery center. Again,
True.
depends on your resources, depends on your circumstances.
True. True.
Once you have a recovery center, you think, what, every time I am taking an animal, I have to take the animal to the clinic, the vets are charging so much, the private vets, horrible charges. So
Yes.
what, I'm going to start my own clinic. So that has been our journey of starting this organization. Now there are other ways too. You can foster.
Hmm.
Let's say you are a working professional, you don't have time to uproot your life, start something like People Farm, but you can foster an animal. What happens is a rescue would have a case, a dog that's almost healed, needs a few more weeks,
Yeah.
but then they can bring a much more horrible case in if this
Save
dog
time.
could be released.
Hmm.
So this dog you can foster, just do the
Yes.
last
Yes.
batch of antibiotics, whatever.
Correct.
So you can
Yes.
help that way. Then it depends on, let's say you don't want to directly work with animals, you have different abilities. So Vaishali here, she's a videographer.
Nice.
So now she is helping us in a different way.
Different way.
She is helping our message get out. Then Karthik, one of our editors, he helped make a video yesterday that helped another woman in another part of Himachal, Dolma ji in Kinnor, raise funds. So you
Nice.
use your abilities whichever way, it's gonna benefit the organization as long as everything is pulling in that one
One
direction. है ना?
Exactly.
And yeah, so like the way, I see 7 ways of changing the world. 6 are very relevant. Change the education system.
Correct.
Every generation passes through it. Now, changing doesn't mean you change it, but you start going to one school, start doing classes. You do
Yes.
service, which is again helping animals. You do awareness videos.
Correct.
You do innovation.
Yes. Yes.
You can make something. This woman made slaughterhouse lines run zigzag, which reduced panic in the animals. The factories embraced it because it meant more profit for them, but the animals suffered less emotionally. That's innovation that made a worse, like a horrible thing, slightly better. You do enterprise, like the people who are, the guy who invented ballpoint pen. At that point, a pen was $100. Literacy rates were down because pen is so expensive. Nobody can afford to write. So Bic, the company, they made the pen so cheap and accessible to everyone that changed the world. So that's, and then another is policy change. Like right now we don't have too many laws for animals.
Correct.
So putting more policy. So these are 6
More
ways.
policy. Great, excellent. These are really helpful. And so for policy particularly, because correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that is also one of the points where this whole chain of suffering starts, because people come together, they take a collective action, and that results in more suffering. So how do you actually plan to change this in some way, at least to minimize the suffering for animals particularly?
See, depending on the issue, some changes require bottom-up approach, some require top-down. Like environment is a top-down thing.
Top-down.
It can only be helped by policy. You and I start saying, we're going to take short showers, we're going to bike everywhere. Won't make a difference because we know that most people won't do it.
Yeah.
And with environment, unless everybody does it, it's going to be polluted. And it's not even just everybody in India, it's everybody in the world, because the pollution of Pakistan and Nepal is not going to just stay there.
No.
है ना? It's so that requires a top-down approach globally. Things like meat, dairy, we as individuals can make our voices heard because we cast our vote by our note,
Yes.
where we
Correct.
put our money.
Exactly.
So stop
Exactly.
giving your money to dairy businesses, stop giving your money to slaughterhouses, stop giving your money to poultry businesses, and you are
Excellent.
making a difference.
Excellent, excellent. That's very, very helpful. And did you face any major hurdles during the journey? I heard you saying that initially you saw veterinary hospitals charging oversized fees to take care of hurt and injured animals. I myself experienced this with one of the calves at our place was seriously injured. Then the way the system is constructed is that when the vet came to take care of the animal, he actually did not have any intent to take care of the animal. He treated it like a commodity. Just objectified it, just took it and just swung its head around from one direction to the other. We wanted him to check if it was a fracture, and he just swung the head around, and that resulted in more pain, and unfortunately didn't survive. He treated it so horribly. I shouldn't tell this about a vet because ultimately we look at them with a lot of respect in society. But what kind of hurdles did you face? Did you see these kind of things in society which made you set this up?
Yeah, practically, like the hurdles are, see, the biggest hurdle is people, finding good people. Now, even when you're running a business, it's hard enough to find good people and retain them. Even when you're making money and you're spreading money around, it's hard. So imagine running a non-profit. You need people who are invested in the work to some degree, and finding them and retaining them. So that is the biggest thing.
True.
Personally, individually, my biggest challenge was a lifestyle withdrawal. It's one thing to rationally decide I want to do good, and when you start doing good, you feel horrible because you have all your life been used to feeling good by pleasure.
Yes.
You want to go out for drinks, you want to smoke up, you want to go for a drive, let's go buy something, let's go on a vacation. So that's what our source of feel good has been. Then you come to a village and then you say, I want to do good, and then you're like crying yourself to sleep every night that what the hell did I do to my life? And then you are like, I don't want to do this, but then that white angel sitting here then says, yeah, what about suffering footprint? And you're like, damn it, I have to do this.
You have to do this.
So
Exactly.
it took a few years for me to adjust. That was my personal challenge. I'm glad I stuck because I wouldn't want to live any other way. It's not for the animals, nothing. Even personally, like, I wouldn't want to live any other way.
Any other way, yeah.
At the same time, even if I wasn't feeling this good, I'd still be doing this work because this is the right thing to do.
True. Absolutely, absolutely. And yes, once again, I'd like to tell all our viewers, please ingrain these principles as part of your life in some small way or the other, and gradually keep scaling it up to small things. Of course, we should start with them, but not be stuck there. We should, keep upscaling as much as we can. And this is such an inspirational person, and we must follow in these footsteps, of course, because there's no other way to actually help so many animals which are suffering. We live in a world where we just blind ourselves. There are families in several parts of this country and around the world that purposefully blind their children to the idea of compassion. They refuse to tell their children that the animal is suffering pain, and this is also a person. This is also a living being just like you. We're born with that in some way or the other. But then I've seen this in, you have these festivals where animals are cut and the children are forced to sit while the process is being done. And that's so horrific because their sense of compassion is numbed to such an extent that they stop feeling pain for it. And then when you have one child, 100,000 children like this, continually being added to society, the problem just gets worse. So it starts in a house, as you rightly mentioned, the education system, the household, the parents ingrain these values, I think that's where the change should begin. And anyone listening to this, please take the step of telling your children how important it is to look at the animal or any other living being in front of you just as you would look at yourself and your family. So thank you so much for these insights and the inspiration, and I will definitely make sure this message goes out to our viewers out there. You're doing an amazing work, I would say Bhagwan's work himself. So
Well,
dhanyawad.
thank you
Jai
so
Shri
much.
Krishna. Jai Shri Krishna. Namaskar.
Sahi